I'm joined by Sports Minister Kiren Rijiju. So thank you for making time for WION, and let me begin this interview by asking you, how did you think of this fitness campaign which you are about to launch?
The Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji has given a concept. We have already developed Khelo India concept and it's been launched. Today, Khelo India is the widest ever possible sports program being launched in our country. So after Khelo India, now we have to get into the Fit India campaign. Every Indian must be fit. Fitness doesn't mean that you are physically very, very fit. Fitness means overall, your way of life should be proper, in proper shape. Fitness, mental fitness, physical fitness, and fitness in everything you do. So this is something, it's very universal, and we are going to take it forward, and we are going to launch it in a large scale.
Is it correct to say it's as big as like Swachh Bharat campaign, a big campaign?
It's nothing to compare about. Swachh Bharat is about the surroundings, about the place where we live, and fitness is about the person, about the life itself, about your body. So fitness has to be ingrained in your personality. So we are not comparing, but it is definitely a program like we have these iconic programs which we witnessed in the last 5 years, like Swachh Bharat Abhiyan.
So what are you doing as a sports minister to promote sports and fitness in the country?
Sports par excellence, India has long way to go.
So why do you say that?
Just simply see the position of India in the Olympics. Where does India stand in the podium? The stature of a country in sports world is measured in sports arena, and the biggest sporting forum is the Olympics. I'm definitely not satisfied with the 2 medals which we won in Rio Olympics 2016. That is why thereafter Prime Minister has constituted the Task Force Committee. The Task Force Committee has submitted the report. Now it is for us to implement. As a sports minister of the country, it is my responsibility to ensure that we take the country much forward than where we are. That is why I'm not satisfied in the way which we have performed so far. But you can see things are improving. Better atmosphere, better performance because of better training facilities and better support. Infrastructure is a big issue which we are going to take it forward through the cooperation of various sectors.
And what about the people who train our sportsmen?
That's what the coaching of the coaches, the training of the trainers, the technicalities, the support system. Everything has to be combined together. Sports is a world in itself. You don't become a sports powerhouse just like that. So my appeal to the people of my country is, let us play. Play for winning, play for medal has to be given an extraordinary focus, but play for the way of life, sports as a culture. I may be 40 years old, I can play badminton. You may be 45 years old, you can still play golf. You may be at any age, you can still play. There are sports which you can play till the end of your life. So sports as a way of life needs to be inculcated in our society. That is why we are changing all the slogans also.
Absolutely, sport is a way of life, but sport also does not exist in a vacuum. Now, keeping in mind the tension in Kashmir, how has it affected our sporting ties with Pakistan?
Pakistan issue is very diplomatic in nature. I don't want to mix up with the sports. But having said that, Jammu and Kashmir is our state. It's one of our union territory now. We will do everything to provide sports so that the youths of Jammu and Kashmir get the opportunity to play and lead a normal life. Ladakh, I just visited last week, and I had announced certain decisions, and I have already sent a team of officers to Ladakh. They are going to make a concrete proposal which I am already...
Are you saying that there will be a special initiative on part of the sports ministry for the union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh?
Yes, yes.
And if they are, can you please elaborate on it?
See, Ladakh, as I said, I have visited already and I have already initiated certain actions.
Such as?
providing the athletic track. At the height of 12,000, the grass doesn't grow. We're going to provide the AstroTurf, artificial grass. I'm going to make an archery and some kind of academy there, which is suitable to that area. I'm going to recognize the ice hockey, which has not been recognized by the Ministry of Sports yet, which I'm going to give a special waiver because many states do not have the snow. So how do they have this ice hockey? So I'm going to give this special relaxation for the sake of the people of Ladakh. I'm going to give them special equipments for the young people to play. At the same time, the AstroTurf for the hockey also, whatever is necessary, we'll do whatever is necessary. For Kashmir side also, I'm already in touch with Mr. Vijay Kumar, and we will take up some good steps and probably hold some important events, not only for the Ministry of Sports, because I am also looking after the youth affairs. We'll hold some important national integration camp and some activities will be conducted.
The Valley of Jammu and Kashmir.
Yes.
So you will have special initiatives also from the other ministry which you handle, youth affairs.
Youth affairs also, because I have already decided to do some proactive programs in Jammu and Kashmir as well as in Ladakh and Kargil, that Kargil and Leh side.
There will be two separate programs.
Yeah.
But so there was always also an issue of the Indian tennis team which was supposed to travel to Pakistan. Can you shed some light on it? What's the status?
See, you have to make this clear distinction. Any bilateral sporting event with Pakistan has to have the government sanction. Without the approval of the government, nothing can happen with Pakistan. It's very clear. Anything which is multilateral, which is international event, there the government do not have any kind of say because India is signatory to the Olympic Charter.
Okay.
So, as per the spirit and the rules of the Olympics, we are not supposed to bring in our domestic political interest into sports. So, if it is a multilateral event, it is an international commitment, then government do not have any space or leverage to put our political issue there. But when it comes to bilateral event with Pakistan, any bilateral sporting event with Pakistan will require political clearance.
So, sir, what happens in this case? The tennis.
Davis Cup is not bilateral event.
So, is there a talk about neutral venue, or is just in the media space?
No, any international events are not decided by the government of India nor by India's national sporting body. It is decided by the International Federation and International Sports Body. So there we don't have any say. As I said, we are signatory to the Olympic Charter and the rules. So there we don't have any.
Tell me one thing. You've just taken over this responsibility of youth affairs and sports minister. You have been part of the Ministry of Home Affairs for full 5 years. How conflicting do you find the situation where the world of sports is very, very different, and then you have certain national commitments and you have certain political scenarios in South Asia? How do you reconcile that tension and then bring the best when it comes to the sporting world?
See, these are two different worlds. Sports, as a sports minister, I have to handle this subject. The subject is provided to me to look after. So I'm independently looking after this issue. Home ministry is altogether different. Home ministry is you are actually taking care of the country's security, internal security, and all state-center relation and everything. So sports ministry is totally different from home ministry.
Let's talk about cricket. A very high-profile decision has been taken, and now BCCI has come under the National Anti-Doping Agency. Your first comment on it?
See, as a minister of the country, first thing I have to say is, no sports body is above anything. Every sports body and every sports person are equal. Let us remove this notion first that a sports body is above another sports body. Number one.
All sports bodies are equal?
All sports bodies are equal for me as a minister, and I have to treat them equally. There may be difference in terms of their values and status and all, but for me as a minister, all sports bodies are equal. From that context, all sports persons are equal. Number one. Number two, we are under a rule of law system. Everybody must come under rules and the laws framed by the government. And law is applicable to everybody. The only anomaly was, there was a, I think, misunderstanding that BCCI used to say that they are not a sports federation per se registered or recognized by the government of India. Yeah, money is okay. Some even in other federations also, many federations generate their own fund. Despite that, they are following, and they took money from government also. BCCI do not take money from the government in the sense BCCI has got enough money, but that is not a part of the concern here. The concern here is clean sports. No player can say that I will not avoid the rules. Nobody can avoid the rules. Rule is applicable to everybody. So it's very good that BCCI has finally come to the term that it has to come under National Anti-Doping Agency, which I am the chairman. As a minister, I am the chairman of the agency. And during the last parliament session, there was a question also on that. Then I told my secretary to give a notice, a letter to the BCCI telling them this is the position. Everybody has to come under the rule of law. How can you say that we don't follow the rule, we don't follow the law? So it was, and BCCI never said that they don't follow the rule or they don't want to follow the rule of law. It's only they misunderstood probably that they think that NADA is just internal mechanism which we have, and they wanted to have a separate memorandum of understanding with NADA. How can government sign MOU with one of the sports federations? That cannot
BCCI
happen.
has always taken a contrarian position. If you look at this to BCCI, when UPA2 was in power, they opposed the sports bill. They said that we cannot be considered part and parcel of other sporting federations, as you recently mentioned. So has that been reconciled?
My position is very clear. I have no personal interest attached with me. I cannot be biased. I cannot be seen to be biased in favor of a sports body. I have to be very equal to everyone. The country cannot be lawless. We have to have a system. It's a simple. When we frame the law or when we come out with the provisions of the bill, it will be universally accepted. I'm giving you a commitment. I can't tell you the provisions, I can't tell you the details, but what I am telling you, the spirit of my intention is that the sports interests and the interests of the sports person will be the primary concern and objective of the bill.
Kiren, a lot of people say that, you have sports in India, but you also have a lot of politicians and sporting bodies in India. You are a politician.
You can't help it.
So the question is, how do you see this issue?
No, those
democratic participation or too much of intervention by people in politics and sporting bodies? Because then it becomes like fiefdom. Look at the state representation of BCCI. All of them are either former chief ministers, serving chief minister, home ministers, or powerful politicians.
Let me be very candid. The sports bodies also require fund and resources. They will look for a person who can handle the federation better. Suppose you are made a president of a body. You can't generate a single amount of penny to run the administration. Then how do you run the administration? How do you run the sports body? So probably they thought that people who are in the helm of the affairs or who are influential are better in the interest of the particular sports body. That is one. Secondly, they must have thought that better administrative skills will, wield lots of well-being of the sports interest.
Okay, let me take you to a different subject. Indian Olympic Association wants to boycott the 2022 Commonwealth Games because Shuri has been left out. Your view?
I was informed verbally by the Indian Olympic Association about this issue. There are two things. I have to take a call. The government has to take a call. Number one, in the interest of the country, prestige of the country. Number two, in the interest of the sports and sports person. Commonwealth is a big game. It's not, may not be like the Olympics and Asian Games, but it's an important game.
Big game.
If a decision is taken by the Commonwealth governing body, which is affecting India, and if decision is seen to be unjustified, or if I put it more straightforward, it's damaging India's medal prospects, definitely we have the right to protest. We must protest. India cannot be just pushed around, or our interests cannot be pushed around by a decision which is unilateral in nature. Unilateral in the sense India has not been there in the governing body of the Commonwealth Games Committee. So I find it's quite unjustified to exclude shooting from the next Commonwealth Games. That is one thing. The other issue is, normally boycott is not the right word or right thing to do. And any decision should not adversely affect the prospect of the other sports persons and other federation. The Commonwealth Games Committee had decided to drop the shooting from the event of the Commonwealth Games. That is very unfortunate. I am certainly very disgruntled with this kind of news which I have received. But at the same time, any particular decision is to be taken, then this has to be a political call as well as an important decision which we need to consult all the stakeholders.
Tell me one thing, you used the word Olympic. Our performance last time was abysmal. It wasn't good at all. So how do you take India to a position where we are seen competing, at a world platform? You have taken over this ministry. What's your vision on it?
My
not far away.
Any vision, long term, has to be very, very objective. Any very short term is to be realistic. So you have to understand these two things. Long term vision must be objective. Short term vision must be realistic. For Tokyo 2020, which is just 11 months away, we cannot produce the talents and sports person within 9-10 months. It's not easy. We have to go with whatever existing potentials which we have. We have certain preparations. Many of our Indian athletes have already qualified. Many more will qualify. My personal view is that the Tokyo 2020 will be a platform where we will showcase our talents, and we should be able to raise the level of our performance better than the previous one. That is my expectation. Having said that, the next goal is 2024 Paris Olympics and then 2032 Los Angeles Olympics. For that we have ample time. The preparation must be done now. So I'm very clear we are taking all the necessary steps to ensure that we provide a platform for our youth, all the young players, to carry forward in the right direction to make them to reach that level of competition. It's not easy. Some of our athletes are doing good, but still at the Olympic standard, they are still below par. So our country, many people do not have the understanding and sense of the Olympic competitiveness. It's very difficult. Every country is putting their best effort, and to win a medal in Olympic podium is not easy. But having said that, we are a large country and we do have potentials.
Or is it because of the fact that, the private money, which is the money from the ad world, the corporate world, just goes to a couple of sports, which are seen as a way of social mobility in life, like cricket, now shooting has become glamorous, but only a couple of sports. And rest don't get the money from the industry.
For that we are there. We will take care of them. There are certain sports which are not glamorous, I do agree, which are even played in not in a very comfortable location where you can large audience. There are sports which are held outside the city. So there are certain sports which are not catering to the need of the corporate world or to the interest of the large audience. But after all, if any event, any discipline is an Olympic event, then we have to give importance to that.
Tell me one thing, at one point of time you were a senior member of the Archery Association, but now the world body has taken this off the list. It has hit our chances. Why has that happened?
Which one?
The archery.
No, that's what archery is. It's not only archery. We have issues, from time to time keeps coming up. But presently, the archery is an issue which I'm also a little disturbed, because our men team have qualified for Tokyo 2020, Absolutely. And our women team are also highly probable to qualify. We have a strong archery team. Now, because of this infighting within the Archery Federation, government has to intervene now, because both the warring factions have been discontinued. They have been suspended. The greatest tragedy will be when our players do not represent the country under our national flag. National flag is our symbol. It's our pride. If our players do not compete under Indian flag, it is a tragedy. I will give utmost importance and efforts to ensure that all Indian players represent India under tricolor flag.
There was a debate on 370 in Parliament. A lot of members of the opposition said, well, why are you doing away with 370? You have 371 A, B, C, D, E, F in various parts of the country, Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, and 6 states of Northeast. What is your view on 371 and 370? Are they equal? Can they be compared?
See, it's very good that you have asked this question. If a common man who is not aware of technicalities of these debates, they can ask clarification. But it is very, very interesting as well as upsetting that the members of parliament, senior leaders, are putting this question. Article 370 deals with Jammu and Kashmir, which puts Jammu and Kashmir state into different pedestal. It provides so many things which you all know. Separate constitutions, Indian laws do not apply there. Any law framed by the Parliament of India do not necessarily automatically applies in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. These are well known. Article 371, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, there are long provisions there, sub-clauses. These are applicable to different states for different reasons. Like for constitution of special board, constitution of special authority, special provisions for their customary law protection. So these are particular thing which is dealing with the special problems of each state. It is nothing to do with, preventing the parliamentary norms and parliamentary laws of India into their implementation. It is nothing that. Article 370 actually keeps Jammu and Kashmir away from the rest of the country.
And 371?
371 is actually integrating more. 370 provides a solace to those states. 371 and under various subsections, under Article 371, various subsections, it empowers the states in terms of those specific provisions of certain subjects. So to compare 371 and 370 itself is such a wrong thing. You can't compare this thing. Like Arunachal Pradesh, 371H provides a special power to the governor in terms of law and order. So there are certain provisions. You can't just compare. Those people who try to create a hysteria, try to create some kind of disturbances by spreading rumors and misinformations, this is a very unfortunate thing. They are doing disservice to the nation.
And lastly, do you think that there could have been any other way to bring about the repeal of these provisions?
A repeal of 370? The best way possible is done. I was in Home Ministry. I studied all these provisions.
Absolutely.
This has been the constant position of the Bharatiya Janata Party for last so many years. We said the moment we get majority, we will repeal 370. We did it. I was the part of the election manifesto. In fact, I was the convener of the security one. This comes under that subject. We had 8-9 subcommittees to draft the BJP manifesto. I was the head of my committee.
Kashmir will be stabilized in time to come because there's still curfew there?
We have to stabilize. There's no other way out. Every Indian must put effort to make the Kashmiri people to understand that this is the best way and this is the only way.
They couldn't have been the other way.
I don't see any other way. How to integrate more? We had to remove 370, and Modi ji had the determination, and we are lucky to have such a leader in our time who has realized our long cherished dream of removing Article 370, and Amit Shah ji has eloquently piloted the whole process of things. I know it. When I was in the Home Ministry, we had discussed how this can be repealed, what is the process. I already knew it. And the determination and guts of the Prime Minister is displayed through such courageous and far-reaching consequences in the best interest of India. This is the call of the time. In fact, I was meeting many people. They said, this is the real feel-good time for every Indian.
So thank you. Thank you for making time for me.
My pleasure.